It's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you are at work, in the car, or wherever you are, we hope you enjoy this show about the great sport of geocaching. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can be part of the adventure tonight in the chat room and participate with others as they watch the show. If you are listening later, please give it a like and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app so that you can get all of the weekly Geocache Talk goodness. If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today. Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
And sponsored by smashingpennies.net. Get 10% off your order with code Geocache Talk Network. They are perfect to put in a geocache. Hey, happy Halloween.
That's a little early.
And a little early. But got to get started with the theme. All right. Big thanks to Baker 6 Clan for our graphics and our featured patrons: Tricassius, Albedo 0.39, Purple Turtles 3, ACDC Family, None of It Tidy, Team Tailwagger, Super Nate, The Twonky, Burnt Turtles, and our new patrons: 6 Easy, returning patron Kitty Catch, Happy F33T3, TN Duke, returning patron Ravenclaw Tia, Baby Yoda Girl, B&J Bish, and returning patron Husker Medic. And my favorite ghost, Jesse.
Ghost and pumpkins. I got pumpkins on here too.
I know, love it. Look at that look. Look at that. Throwing down a look tonight. I like it.
Look at that. Yeah, there you go.
Very well themed.
I'm already in the Halloween spirit, so we got a few days.
Very well themed, my friend. Yes, you're looking good.
It doesn't mean that we can't start eating candy corn and dressing up already.
Yeah. Yeah. So Tony's on, and he will be with us next week. Make sure. Did I get that right, Tony? Yeah. Looking forward to that. I've kind of gotten kerfuffled a little bit, Jesse, because of Thursday night when we got the lineup show. Because I was I had to spend a little time getting that show ready. Yeah. So, and this show has kind of been ready. I need to send a note I think I sent the note to Tony already, but I'm looking forward to his show. It's just they kind of come sometimes pretty quick, but
it happens.
The good part is that, yeah, it happens. But and the good part is that when it's a veteran, I don't really worry's not the right word.
They don't need as much prep time as somebody that's never done it before.
Yeah, Tony's gonna be on next week. Yeah, and he's been on 2 or 3 times already, so I'm not concerned at all about. And I'm really looking forward to his. I always look forward to his because his multi-caches are just so amazing that they're well worth celebrating and discussing, because I think and really hope that people take his ideas, and this is something Tony would say too, is he wants people to take them and run with them. I mean, he wants people to do, like the 5 senses one. I really thought was a fabulous idea for multi-cache.
I did a cache similar to that this weekend. We'll talk about later.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Which, speaking of, well, let's get rolling. Let's get into some news here. So, I think let's start with what you found. I think all of us heard about it, but again, it wasn't something that we heard about beforehand, which is fine. We don't always get the news, but they made a change to Adventure Lab. So talk a little bit about what you found.
Well, I guess change is not really appropriate as much as update. So I didn't hear about it from the forums because none of us get on the forums very regularly, but which we probably should because they're releasing news there frequently. I guess we should be doing that. So I got a text from a buddy and he said, "Hey, what do you think about the new update to the Adventure Labs?" I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" You hate when you get scooped, right? So apparently now they've added, and the news release was on the 19th. So it was a few days ago. Let's see, several days ago they did. But anyway, short version is, for those that are interested in the Adventure Lab, in the app, they're now tracking statistics by categories. They have a few statistics things. So if you want to, because you haven't pulled it up yet. So if you want to,
no, I'm
pull
not.
up your Adventure Lab app.
Okay. Let me do that.
And then on the bottom right, you got the profile.
Yeah, let me do you want me to show it?
No, you don't show it. We'll just go through it. Because everybody will have their own. There's screenshots in the show notes and then on the release, and everybody can kind of do their own. But
here it's labs.geocaching.com for anyone who's
no. I don't know if it's on the computer or you have to do it on your phone. I don't know that yet.
Okay. I think I tried on my phone. I don't know if I'm gonna try it on the computer first.
Okay. So I'm trying on the computer at the same time. So anyway, on the
thinking
app,
about it. Considering it.
If you go to your profile, they now have added statistics. So it pulls up a statistics page, just like it does on geocaching.com for geocaches on your geocaching account.
Oh, okay.
And let's see if it's on the app as well. But so it's interesting what they've included in there. So at the first thing it's got is your completed adventures. So how many adventures you completed. This was interesting for me because I believe this means that you did every single one of the stages.
Right. Which
so I think we
for me is not always the
case. Right.
Yeah. I've done probably of all the adventures. Well, I'm looking for it. I pulled up labs.geocaching.com and I don't.
Yeah, I don't know that it does it on the website. So
it must be on maybe. Let me look on my phone. Let me pull it up on my phone.
Yeah, pull it up on your phone so we can kind of go through it. But anyway, it's interesting because so when you go into the app and then you go to your profile, and the first section after that under profile is statistics. There's some other things too, your own adventures, things like that. Do you find that?
Yeah. Yeah, I found it.
So the first one should be how many you completed. The interesting thing after that is, there's a good look at it.
I got 62 completed, 25 in progress.
So that's what's interesting to me. So I've got 180 adventures completed. And I've got 40 in progress. So that means I started and did at least one stage of 40 different labs and never finished them.
Right.
Which is kind of crazy. And I'm going to have to go back through and kind of look at that eventually because it's funny. Because, as somebody mentioned like before, it says in progress. Well, these are probably in different states that I may not even go back to, right?
Yeah.
So really unfinished. But some of them may be close. And then below that, it shows your adventures, which ones you put out, which ones are active. And then oddly enough, right under that, you see the little red check?
Yeah.
That's your total find count.
Right.
I don't know why that's right there, because that includes geocaches as well.
Why are they telling me that?
Yeah, I don't know why they do that. But the really interesting part about this, and this is what I looked at for a few minutes, is below that it says themes.
Yeah, I've got a lot of themes done. I don't know about
Yeah, so
you.
now it's nowhere near the number of adventures you've completed.
No, I'm missing. There's my list of missings, which is exercise, music, science, spooky, sustainability, and wildlife. Those are my
Yeah.
ones not done.
So
Those
I'm missing
done. Okay.
science and sustainability.
Yeah, is that for you? Okay.
Yeah, I'm missing science and sustainability. Now, immediately what I thought was that would make an awesome challenge, but labs aren't really, I maybe in the future it'll be like a new attribute challenge that we're allowed to do. So to me, that immediately seems like, another matrix that we can do, right? And challenge could be based on that. I haven't looked in I haven't followed up with the challenges yet, but I would love to see them. This is an official stat. I would love to see them make that like a true challenge that we can do now, a challenge cache based on this.
Right.
Because let's say, I want to put out a challenge that says you've done, 50 ones that are labeled as history, as the history attribute, or for tonight's theme, the scary attribute. There's spooky on there. Spooky is one of them. So that would be a really cool challenge, in my opinion, and a way to bring that and kind of time all together. So maybe that's the first step towards that.
Probably so, because obviously you can't click on any of them. You try to click on them, they don't come up. What was your top? What was your top completed?
History, which it doesn't surprise me because Christy loves the history ones.
Me too. Now, the interesting, I have a tie for second between education and sightseeing.
Sightseeing's my second, and walking tours after that.
Walking tours? Wow, walking tour is like way down my list. I don't know why, but it is.
Now, can you search? The big question, I guess, is is there any way to search? You can search by location. Apparently, you can't yet search by those attributes.
And the other part to
it.
Yeah,
you can. You sure can.
Oh, can you?
Look, let's see. If you go to the search feature, yeah, you sure can. So now they've at least I haven't done it that way before because I wasn't really tracking that, but you can search by those attributes that you don't have. So in my opinion, that's right in line with being able to do a challenge.
I agree.
If they haven't added it, they should for sure in the rules. We'll have to go back and check it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you is it I agree, but you're the expert on, is it something that is challengeable? Will they let you create a challenge based on it?
So I guess here's the question, and maybe some of our people that work behind the scenes with, that build the challenge checkers, if you can track that on Project GC, which you probably will be able to eventually do. Then you can make a challenge checker based on it, right? So
you have to have it. Yeah.
I would assume they could build that together.
Okay.
So if they haven't done it yet, they've got to be heading that way, right?
Yep. I noticed that not a lot, but several of them that are of my older ones that I've found have no theme. So
I know, but I think you have to. So I noticed on mine, they let me go back and update them. So I suspect they'll have you eventually go back and update them.
Yeah, I'm talking about the ones I've found. I'd have to go to
I think they'll let you retroactively update them.
I'd have to go to the owner and say, "Hey, can you put a theme on this?"
I'm assuming they'll eventually just tell people to update it.
Right, and I think that's, to be honest, I know I don't like it when you have to do something, but I think it would be nice if people had to put a theme on it of some kind, just so that we don't end up with.
Yeah. As of right now, like this minute, I was just looking it up. It's still listed as not available. Trackables, benchmarking, waymarking, or lab caches that are not available for challenges.
Oh, okay.
So as of right now, you wouldn't be able to do that.
Okay.
I'm hoping because they're putting more and more effort into lab caches. Yeah. Maybe they'll do certain aspects of it, like like the categories or things like that. I get why they don't, because they don't really have a lot of oversight in where you do a lab.
Oh yeah.
You could push a lab out right now in the middle of the Pentagon, and until somebody complained about it, it would stay there.
Right.
They're not location based in terms of statistics, right? Like you can't use one for a state or a county or anything like that. So there's some challenge with it for sure. But if they now, to me, it legitimizes challenges. I mean, labs even more if they have a category like that, and you can start doing challenges based on it. I would love that.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
I see your
tracking
point.
stats in there don't really matter to me, right? Unless I can do a challenge off of it, like I was just about to say a real geocache, but I'll say it anyway. Unless I can do a real geocache off of it, it's still just a separate game.
No, I agree.
It's tracked under geocaching.com, and I go find them. I've found over 1,000 of them. But to me, it would make it a different level of fun if you could tie it back into,
because then you're going to start searching like for, how far do I got to travel to get a,
absolutely would.
And then, then you can kind of almost, plan a trip to do, because I know how you do what I do, which is, I'm going to plan to do XYZ, and along the way, can I pick something up? Can I get a webcam?
Right.
In this way, you can like, oh, I need a exercise adventure lab because I'm short one, to complete a series. So you're like, oh, well, we'll add that to the list of things we're going to do. Whereas where I'm at is I plan like when we do Mountain Cache, I plan a trip, and it's got a specific plan. And oh, by the way, while we're there, let's see if there's an adventure lab. If there is, we'll grab it. If not, we don't care. I mean,
to me though,
it's an afterthought.
Adventure labs are afterthoughts to me for 100%.
Right.
I'll do them if I'm there. There's not a big draw for them.
Right.
Unless we're just in the mood for doing it, or we're in an area that doesn't have anything else, or we're near it. We don't go out of our way to find an adventure lab.
Yeah.
However, for me, and I'm curious for those that are listening now and in the future, if they were to base a challenge on it, like you had to find X number of statistics, or there was a actual loop, like attributes or fizzy or anything else that like you find all of them, there's a square for it.
Right.
Would you go out of your way then to find adventure labs? The answer for me is yes, without a doubt, because that helps me find a real, quote, real geocache at that point.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge cache. That's a whole new area that we could open up for challenge caches, right?
Exactly.
So
yeah, you're right.
To me, it would make a big deal.
Yeah.
But again,
that's good.
It's not a thing. We don't know that it's coming to be a thing. It just is another potential area that could open up. To me, it opens up something brand new for challenges that we haven't done in the past.
We could put that on a list. Ask Brian during Podcast of Hope.
Oh, gosh, look at this. She has an adventure lab credit for over a year now. Email me. I will help you come up with a brand new idea.
Yep.
Because you can do it anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
If anybody is struggling to come up with an idea, email us at Geocache Talk, and we'll put the whole team together coming up with an idea for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Never be stopped by creativity. We can pull people together and help you come up with great stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's not for credit. That's not for anything else. Don't tell anybody to help you. Yeah, anything we can do to help more geocaches be out there, good stuff out there, we will absolutely do it.
Yep.
Like to me, so the only reason I was excited about that is it could lead to something more.
Sure.
Right now it's just like I need to get 2 more so I can have one of everyone because we're just list people.
Right.
But the second you put it into a challenge, boom. Now it becomes one of the things I'm checking off on my list. And I'll be thinking of all kinds of challenges related to it as soon as I can.
I hear you, man. Yeah.
Because somebody wants to be the first one to put that challenge out, right? That's a whole new, that's like getting a chance to be the first Fizzy challenge or Jasmine or whatever. It's something brand new that nobody's done yet. You want to be the first one because you can name it.
Yeah. And and Raymond mentions about the physical cache that's attached we'll need to revisit Adventure Labs again on a maybe a Sunday coming up in the future, because we need to talk about that again.
Well, they're putting more effort into these labs, which is good. When they first came out, they were fun, but that fun can wear off after a while if they don't continue to update them, right? Because you're missing the physical location. But if they start adding more things to really integrate it into the game, like they've updated the apps and they've done things like that, and you can still do a bonus cache to tie to it. To me, labs become more enticing than they were earlier.
No, I agree. Yeah.
So maybe around December 2nd, we may get an update on that.
Yeah, no, it's true.
I mean, there is a guy coming on to our show that probably knows quite a bit
on December 2nd. Yeah, we can ask him. We can put that on our list of questions for Brian for Podcast to Hope. Okay, so next news item, and we're gonna, trust me, we'll get into Halloween caches here in a moment. So stay with us.
There's just news going on. We had to talk about it.
I know we had to talk about it. So this is really more for a full show, but I want to mention it because it was something that, how to put this? Remember in Seinfeld where they had the George's dad talks about Festivus.
Yeah.
One of the themes of Festivus, or one of the activities of Festivus is a chance for George's dad to tell about all the ways people disappoint you.
No. Yeah.
I got a lot of problems with you people, and you're gonna hear about it. Well, that's where
that was the airing of grievances, correct?
Yes, the airing of grievances. Well, I'm going to air a grievance tonight, and that is, I am sick and tired. And I'm going to caveat this in a minute, but I am sick and tired, sick and tired of basic members. And I know everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, Gary, everybody starts out, these are all new cachers. You could give them a break." Well, one of them had like over 500 finds, and they were a basic member.
So, what is your issue with basic members? Because I don't see where you're going yet.
My issue with them, so I probably, up until yesterday, I probably had 90% of my caches were premium member only. And every time I have a non-premium geocache, it gets destroyed, or it gets moved, or it just doesn't stay, and I have to fix them. They tend like way above. I mean, I don't know if this is, a way to pull the stats on this, but it is crazy how much I have to deal with those versus my premium ones. Next part.
Hold on. We're gonna move on yet. Hold on.
Okay. Well, I got another part to this, but go ahead.
I know. But so I don't know that you can lump all basic members into that category.
No, there's plenty
of. I think there's two categories of basic members. Right.
Plenty of bad premium members too.
Oh yeah. First of all, I've had so many premium members destroy stuff. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
Money does not buy taste. You know what I mean?
No, exactly right.
We can get into a whole show about this, but I think
we need to
a basic member that is a geocacher, the geocachers, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's normal, does the stuff, everything else. It's just like everybody else. They don't have the premium, but they find basic caches, they go and do it. And then there's brand new people that cache off the phone that are just getting the game and have no idea about the concept or etiquette of the game. But I think that's the ones you're talking about. There's some people that are stay basic for years. They're real geocachers. They'll cache like that forever, and they don't want to do anything else differently. They want to do that. they can do events and basic caches, up to like 2 or something of
Yeah.
traditionals, and that's all they're ever going to do. So they stay basic.
Yeah.
Then there's the people that have no idea what's going on. They get on the app and think it's a video game, and go and take things or destroy things because they think it's funny. I think that's the ones that destroy stuff. Not choosing to stay basic or premium, I don't think is the line. I think getting into the game or just jumping into the game and not knowing what's going on is the line. Yeah. Now, having said that, I've been premium since like week 2.
Yeah.
I got into it and I was like, oh, not technically week 2, but when I started back in the game. But
yeah.
I think it's the people that start here,
yeah.
never realize what the game actually is. They think it's just Pokemon or something like that, one of the other geolocation games, Munzie, those type games or whatever.
Yeah.
And then don't ever have any respect for the other people's property that destroy stuff. I don't think you can lump all basic members in there, but that's just
no. I know you. I know you can. The last straw for me was, and I don't. I want them to keep finding caches, but they found 2 or 3 of my caches this weekend, and every one of them every one of them they did spoiler photos.
Okay.
So they didn't take a picture of the log like you might do, where you could kind of hide. I mean, you don't really give away.
They took a picture of the cache.
They made the most spoiler photo you could do.
So
that's I sent them what?
That is terrible, but I got some follow-up questions, but go ahead.
So I sent them a nice little note because they're brand new. And I said, just to let you know, it's I sent them a very nice note, it's better not to, spoil where the chat cache is, give other people a chance to find, whatever.
Yeah.
And they sent me back a meh, MEH.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
So I just deleted their picture. I didn't delete their log. I just deleted their photo. So I had to go through and delete photos. And then I thought, you know what? That's it. All of my from now on, I am servicing all of my geocaches are now. If you want to find any of my geocaches, you're gonna need to be a premium member. So yeah, and Tony's right. It's an education.
This is a whole show because I have like 10 questions dropping off. But one question I'll ask and then we can move on.
Well, I'll add it to my list of things.
Of fun?
Yeah, but we'll definitely talk about that one night.
Did they have a lot of fines? These people that you're talking about?
It's a mix.
I'm talking about the specific one you're just talking about with the photos.
The one that gave me the meh. Oh yeah, they had 6 fines. So
okay, that probably falls into that one little iPhone category. I had no idea what's going on.
Yeah, that's which I understand. Yeah. But
okay.
I just think if you're new to a game, and I've got over 3,000 fines, and I say, hey, the way this game is played, I didn't say it like this, but you get the idea. I was very nice about it, but I was like,
yeah,
please, do not put, do not post, spoiler photos or whatever.
So I want to get into a much deeper discussion about this.
No, because we got other stuff to talk about.
I only have one premium cache, and I'm about to archive it. Not because of the premium, non-premium issue.
Yeah.
Another issue, but
it's just ready to go. Yeah.
It's just ready to go. It was a mistake on my part, which I'll talk about on another show, but
yeah,
we have to do a whole show on this because it's time. We haven't done it again. And
yeah, we'll need to.
There's very many reasons, premium, non-premium, everything else
I'll put on the list.
Certain styles. Yeah, let's put on the list because I have a lot to talk about on that one. Because you and I have different opinions on it, so I like it. We approach it in different ways.
All right, let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's get in this. Let us get some Halloween caches. You found one this weekend. Do you want to start with that one?
So caveat first, I did not find a Halloween cache this weekend, but I would call it spooky. So
it fits
okay.
Okay.
So let me explain. So I went out to go get some gadget caches this weekend. Christy and I did. We went on a day to go find about an hour or so away. We went specifically for 6 caches that were in an area, 1 being a virtual, the other 5 being traditionals. But they were gadget caches. We looked them up. They actually had gadget cache in the name. So we drove up there just for that. We get to the first one, and we get to the first one, and it's awesome. It's to take off the smelling ones, you know, and it's a gadget cache. And I won't give a spoiler on it. I did non-spoiler pictures on Instagram this weekend just because I want to draw, but I couldn't put the GC in it because I don't want to give it away, right? But so I'm not gonna give the GC on this either because I don't like spoilers. But anyway, it was awesome. It's right behind a police station, and you get to the thing, and it's scent based, so you have to, you know, smell the things and figure out the code based on that and open it. It was a great cache. Well, all these caches were by the same person, so I was super excited when we got to the first one. Yeah, we move a little down the road, and we get to the next one, and it's on a trail in the woods. So it's jungle trail is the best thing I could do to describe it in Florida, right?
Sure.
But the woods, you're on the trail. The first thing you come into is not a sign that says "Watch out for gators" or any other wildlife, but bear in the area. Why? Why is there bear in this little wood section that I'm going to? And like danger and stuff like that. Come on now. So I go this trail, and you get down there, and you're totally in the woods. It was like between 2 interstates, right? And then something like is catching your eye, but you don't know what it is immediately. It's because it's way up, right? And these trees the canopy's there. You're covered, right?
Right.
There was a huge concrete structure there. So there used to be, it was an unfinished project. And so it's like all of a sudden you didn't know it, but you're under one of those really high interstate freeway things, but there's no road up there. It was that kind of structure. I don't know a big structure. It totally catches you off guard. So that's kind of spooky that you didn't see this and you walk right up on it. Anyway, so we're going in the trail, and I'm going for this gadget cache, and I'm already seeing it's cobwebs across the trail. So in one hand I have my phone. In the other hand, I've got like just a stick that I grabbed to knock down the cobwebs because they're taller than you.
Right,
the cobwebs are huge, and they're just gross when you get them in your face and everything else, right? So I'm knocking them down, and I'm walking through. Sure enough, I get another 50 feet on this trail, and the compass is pointing directly into the woods.
Oh my!
And I'm still like 50 feet away from it. I'm like, son of a gun!
Nice.
So by this point, Christy's already turned back. She's like, "Nope, I'm out." She's going back to the Jeep. She's
wow!
Like, I'm out.
For Christy to do that,
daylight.
That's
she
big.
Doesn't do creepy crawlies. So we're going. We go out, get off the trail, go in there, and I'm swinging all of it. I've already eaten a couple. At one point, I'm swinging. I hit this thing. I hit the bush, and this squirrel-sized thing jumps at me and lands on my leg.
Oh my gosh!
And it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh!
And it was like red. It was on my leg. And I'm not even scared of spiders or anything. But this thing was,
still,
I felt the spider land on my leg. If that gives you an idea of how big it was.
Right.
The problem is now both hands are full, and it's crawling up my leg and up my chest, and I can't get it off of me.
Right.
And I finally dropped my phone. I'm trying to hit it with a stick, but the stick's huge with a bush on the end, so I could get off the webs. And I finally get it off of me. But
was it real? Also, it was a real spider.
Oh yeah, it was a real spider.
Oh, I thought it was part of the cache thing.
No. I haven't gotten to the thing yet.
Okay.
So, and I'm still 12 feet according to my thing, because you're looking down. 12 feet away from the cache. I still can't. I didn't see anything. Yeah, it was probably a banana spider. They're not adorable when they land on you.
They're adorable, but huge.
I promise you, it was the size of my hand.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is about the size of my face, right? So it's crawling up me. I don't normally care about spiders, but it was crawling up quickly, and I had nothing to get it off me with.
Right. So
so I finally dropped the stick, got it off of me, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not getting this cache.
Oh, come on.
Totally unrelated to this incident, Christy said she heard a lady screaming in the woods. I don't know what that was about. That couldn't have been me. But
Wow.
It was right around the area where I came running out of really quickly.
Huh.
And if it would have been nighttime, I'd have just burned them whole woods down. I wouldn't have even. I did not make the cache. And by the time I'd already dropped everything, I was like, you know what? This is just a sign that I will add to this that I was wearing like a sleeveless t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops. I know I did not plan on getting into the woods that day. Yeah. So I was just like, you know what? I'm done. I am not dressed appropriately for these. But it was one of the spookiest experiences I've had. It just caught me off guard. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That's
funny though.
One of those you're like, you feel so dumb because your hands are full and you can't do anything about it. And I'm like, go away.
Gosh, that's awesome.
Just for the record, I was not the one screaming.
I don't know. It sounds like
total coincidence.
It was a total coincidence that
I don't care what Christy said. That must have been somebody else in the woods.
Christy heard a little girl screaming, and she was wondering who that was.
But yeah, it was. So that was the spookiest experience I've had recently with a cat.
That's
nothing to do with
hysterical.
Halloween. I did do a few of the gadget caches on that trip. I just didn't go into the woods for the rest of them, but I did the ones that were closer to the road, and they were awesome gadget caches. But that was one of those that totally catch you off surprise when you're going caching, and you're like, well, my heart rate's up now. That's good. And
absolutely,
that was there was not the intention of that cache owner, right? But that wasn't a spooky cache. It was just spooky getting to that. But it was funny anyway. It was a funny experience. About 3 seconds after it was over, it was funny. It wasn't funny at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carabiner says, scream like the robber on Home Alone with the tarantula on his face.
It was just one of those things that totally caught you off surprise. Yeah. This it wasn't meaty like a tarantula, but it was long and large. It looked like it took a real spider, like a real spider, just stretched it out some. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
No, it was fun. But that's great. Yeah. So doesn't count as a real. It wasn't supposed to be a spooky cache. It was supposed to be a regular gadget cache, but pass. I was not appropriately attired for woods caching this weekend. So that one's that's on me. But
you'll need to be next year when you do the cache I'm about to show you. I'm gonna show you I'm gonna show you a not really a spoiler because everybody has shown this particular photo. There's so much. There's 100,000 things about this geocache I'm about to show you, and this is just one of 100,000. So everybody don't say, "Oh, it's a spoiler." You're ruining the whole thing. I'm not.
It's a common spoiler that you're showing.
Common spoiler. In fact, I think it's the photo on the front of the geocache. I have to go look.
This one though, you're going to be scary. This is intended to be scary. Yeah.
Yeah, this is one that would be great to do on Halloween, but I don't know what his, if you have to schedule to find this cache. Does that intrigue someone out there that you need to schedule to find this geocache? Maybe not, but I'm going to bring it up and we'll discuss briefly. Then we have some others we want to talk about too, but so here it is. That's the photo for Infernal Device. There we go. Now
that's a photo you've seen before.
Yeah. That's not the cache ? Or is it? Or is it not? Can't tell you.
It's part of the experience.
It is. It is the quintessential. It is the perfect Halloween geocache that everyone needs to do. And I'm not the biggest fan of Halloween. I'm sorry.
I love Halloween.
I know, but I'm not as big of a fan, but trust me, this is just one geocache, but the experience is hard to explain, and you got to do it with people. I mean, you don't have to. I mean, you can survive. I'm sorry, you can find this cache on your own, but I really wouldn't do it unless I was with a group.
It's like an escape room. It's meant to be done with other people.
Yeah, it's a reverse escape room. You're trying to get into it.
Interesting.
So Strek 2, it looks like an electric chair. Yes, it is.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
There's a reason for that. That's it. No more spoilers. I just wanted to tell everyone that you're gonna want to you're gonna want to, and what we're gonna do for Cache Fest, well, it's not fully in place yet, but for Cache Fest next year, we're gonna have to schedule it because, and everybody, and the schedule will be posted and you can sign up to do. Yeah.
And from everybody that's ever talked about that cache, that is a once in a lifetime experience.
Yes.
Like there's not a lot of caches out there that rival this in experience.
Yeah, I'm sure there might be others, but I don't think that anyone is. I mean, there are some, but
right. But I mean, you're talking about a very, very, very small percentage. This is not.
There's a tiny fraction of because there's so much that we spent hours and we didn't find everything that you can find.
Right,
I mean,
right.
Because I can say safely that there is not another geocache in the world that has the amount of gadgets and trackables and doodads and hidden things inside of one geocache.
Right.
I mean, JLA says, it's worth revisiting. It is really worth visiting because, I mean, every time you go, it's almost different. And this is version 2. And version 2 is nothing like version 1. So I think by next summer, there'll probably be a version 3, and version 3 might be completely different than version 2. I mean, it's pretty wild. And I've told before on the show where we were part way. I'm going to be vague, but we were kind of part way through the journey of this geocache, and our friend he's not real boisterous or loud like the rest of us knuckleheads. And there was a pause. We were just sort of, it was like a collective pause. We're all like, okay, all right, hang on, hold on. It's southeast of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. So
where Cache Fest is going to be, coincidentally, but
it's where Cache Fest could be in Norman / Oklahoma City. Part of the week will be in Norman, parts in Oklahoma City. So anyway, Norman's like sorry, I don't want to offend the Norman people, but basically you've sort of become a suburb of Oklahoma City.
For the purposes of this discussion, yes.
For purposes of this, you can, not a bad way. I mean, I appreciate the whole corridor, more Oklahoma, right. But there was a pause in the moment, and then our friend he goes, this is not like anything like the first version. I was like, oh really? That's great. You're here to help us, and this version of Infernal Device isn't anything like the other one.
That's funny.
And so we played off of that. Like, well, what are you here for anyway? What's the point?
But now you would call this a spooky cache, but not necessarily a Halloween cache, because it's not only available during Halloween, right?
No. It's year
Halloween.
round.
It becomes a Halloween cache, but
it becomes a Halloween cache. And there's plenty. So, and we have a list. We won't be able to get to them all tonight, but I want to switch gears. And I mentioned before, and we won't get into the caches for this one, but I like because you like you said, you like Halloween. A lot of people like Halloween.
Yeah.
I would suggest that if people have the time and the chance, is to go to Jefferson, Texas. A lot of great caches in Jefferson, but you can do the Halloween themed trail. And I think that's a cool idea. Like if you're into Halloween, maybe a power trail. What are your thoughts on maybe?
So we kind of talked about this a little bit before the show, and that's always been hard. And Christy and I have always struggled with this. We love Halloween, and I have a buddy that hides a Christmas cache once a year.
It's cool.
And redoes it every year, and
yep,
archives it and redoes it. And it's a huge box, like it looks like a present, so it's a large box. Barry from Colorado.
Yep.
So he has this cool thing, and people love it, and he fills it with presents. So the first 30, 40, 50 people, whatever, that find this cache,
that's really cool.
Get a present, a wrapped present, a geocaching related present.
That's cool.
He does it all himself. It's cool. It's awesome. But then after Christmas is over, he changes it out for just like a regular ammo can, right?
Okay. Oh, okay.
And leaves it still called Christmas cache. And he says cleared on the page from this date to this date, this will be a Christmas themed cache, and it's called Christmas cache, or something like that. Christmas cache is the one here in Florida, the oldest here in Florida. So it's called something similar to that.
Right.
It's awesome, but I think now what he started to do is leave it for 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
He doesn't leave it as a permanent cache. And I know it's frowned upon to have temporary caches, but that's the struggle, right? You want to do a holiday themed cache. Do you change it during the holidays, after the holidays? Do you keep it year round? If it's spooky, it could be a Halloween cache, but then it's spooky the rest of the year.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a Valentine's Day, it's kind of weird the rest of the year, unless it's just, that's just a Valentine's Day. So the temporary versus permanent caches is kind of and now I think at one time it was a year, then it was 6 months. One time it was 3 months, then you went back to 6 months. I don't know what they say expect to leave your cache out there for, but
yeah.
So it's hard to do a holiday themed cache. Now we're talking about Halloween tonight, so you can do spooky ones year round, because I've smelled spooky caches year round, way cooler during Halloween. But I think if that's your holiday and you want to leave it there, just know that it needs to stay there more than a week, right? You can't get into that where I just happened to archive it. The reviewers are not going to fall for that more than 1 year. So
yeah, I kind of like the idea, me personally, of a holiday themed geocache being out there 365. I mean,
yeah, and you can do that perfectly well.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody, and I've seen these, you've probably seen, at least seen photos of people who are it's like a bison on a tree, but yet it's like a little cedar tree, and it's got a bunch of ornaments on it, like it's a little Christmas tree kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you found that in July, you'd be like, okay, it's a Christmas themed geocache. Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean,
and I think that's the thing. You have to, it has to make sense all year long.
Yeah,
leave it there permanently. What do you think about somebody hiding it and then changing it to a regular cache, except for or changing the cache? Now I went to it. There was a gadget cache I went to that.
Yeah,
there was a gadget cache on the side of a fence, and the guy changed it periodically. So different times of the year, he would. It was a music based one, so he would change it to Christmas music or Halloween music. So the experience was different based on what time of year you went to it.
But you can't find it more than once.
You can,
but you can't. You write note.
Yeah. However, you can archive it once a year and put out a brand new version of it.
That's probably a better way to do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
maybe call it Holiday Cache 2023, and then next year it's 2024.
Archive. Yeah. I like the idea of archiving and because you're not talking about some famous. It's not like Mingo. You're not going to archive Mingo and then come back with Mingo 2.0 or something. You're just not going to do it. I mean,
so they leave their JLA, leave their holiday cache themes. I like that idea.
I agree.
It's going to get the biggest bang for its buck during its, titled holiday, but it'll still be cool all year long, right? I wouldn't not find a cache in February that was a Halloween cache.
No, I mean, to me, Halloween caches are fine year round, just because that's their theme. And in many ways, like you said, we we would just call it a spooky cache instead of a Halloween cache, even though some may be more themed. I mean, you could have a cache that is literally Halloween themed, like either movie Halloween or it has some other tie to the holiday. But even then, I think I would be okay with just let it be, and let everybody enjoy it for what it is.
I like that idea much better than trying to change, than archive it immediately. But have you ever hidden one then? Any holiday, not just Halloween, but any holiday.
No, I've got. Let me see if I can find it. I've got one that I need to put out. A friend of mine gave me this. Friend of mine gave me the finger the other day. Literally gave me a finger.
Nice.
So, I need to make it up into a cache and put it out.
I like that.
So, you ever put anything out like that?
I have, and I told the story once before of the murder mystery multi that I was doing that got the police called on it. There was a body in a trunk. I didn't think that one through. So that was one. I've tried to put out a couple that were like story themed. They weren't specifically the holiday, but they were spooky, like with skulls and stuff like that. But I've never really had a lot of luck with those before.
Jesse spotted themed caches. And you could have a sound effect, with you screaming, because screaming like a girl, that'd be good.
That's right. No, I like the idea, and I would go for them at any time of the year. The oldest one here in Florida, as everybody knows, it's called Christmas Cache. So
yeah,
it's been out there since the year 2000. So apparently it works.
Oh, yeah. How about
Not
Ellen's
really Christmas thing? But
Owen says, did a yard cache that the container changed every month based on the holiday for that month. People were avid yard decorators.
That is cool. See, I like that.
Yeah.
That really the only bad thing is you can't claim a cache more than once. But if it's good enough to go back and visit, that's just as cool.
Yeah. There are a number of caches, and they get a lot of favorite points. If you're wanting to do a travel bug hotel, and you're doing a fairly large travel bug hotel, and you put it with a theme, and obviously you could do a spooky theme. That's a theme. You're going to get a lot more favorite points. Now, but not for this show, but okay.
That's not a holiday, but I guess that does count. Eminem from M was talking about.
Yeah,
he got one of our caches. It's an anniversary cache. Now that only happens once a year, but it's still it's a holiday. It's a holiday for us, right? But
sure.
That stays the same. That's a themed cache like that. So up in the mountains and stuff. So that counts.
What is the? I understand the theme's anniversary. What were the details on that one? If you can share some.
Went on a hike. That's where we spent our anniversary, and and the cache is written up like that. It's up in the mountains or whatever, and it's called our anniversary cache. But it's right by a waterfall and stuff like that. But
I like
so
it.
So that's not a national holiday, although it should be. But that's a that's it is themed around something. It doesn't change any other time of the year,
Yeah, but
what you hit on, I think, is good. So the travel bug hotel, people come back to those even though they've already found them.
That's true.
If you wanted to do that, you could put one out and then change it throughout the year, different holidays. And when people come back to drop track or pick them up, they would see your different themes. So that would be kind of fun.
Yeah, and there's several that are that make the book, the 501 geocaches to find before you die U.S. state version.
Yeah.
Cheesy plug. Buy one for your family today. It makes a great Christmas gift. And a couple dollars goes to buying me steak or whatever I do with it. So, but if you go through the book, you'll find that a good portion of the caches that make the book are themed. Um, you know, oh, thanks, Strict too.
Well, that's what takes it to that extra level, right?
Yeah.
And
So
like we've got a list that we're not going to get through tonight, of course, but we didn't plan to get on all these. But there's a
No.
list of Halloween themed caches in our show notes for people that go there afterwards. And as you go through them, you'll notice those are higher favorite point caches, but it's because it's a non-standard cache, right? Like you're putting a theme to it that makes it a lot more fun, that makes it more of a story. And when we're talking about putting out quality caches, which is what we all want to do, right? Not that it's a favorite point race,
absolutely.
but when you're putting out a quality cache, whether it's holiday theme, which is coming up now, and not that you would have any time to hide one now before it, but Christmas is coming up and New Year's and everything else. I think that adds a little bit of extra story that makes it a lot more fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you don't have to go to the extreme of Infernal Device, which is a huge project.
Right, right. That's a once in a million type cache.
Yeah, but if you're, if it doesn't take, it doesn't take, it it really doesn't take a lot of extra effort to, make a spooky cache. I mean, and they're memorable. That's the thing. I think the thing that we all want people to remember our caches. At least I hope people want to remember my caches.
We want it to be memorable for sure.
They want to be memorable. So, and and we found, and some of them come to mind, which are, something as simple as, a rat in a tree with a bison tube and its behind, is something that people are going to remember. It's just one of those. It's just different enough that, and then you make jokes, and if you're with a group, it gets to be funny, and people, you get the whole, rats kind of thing, and whatever it happens to be. So
yeah, but the thing with that is you're adding to the people's experience of the finder's experience.
Yeah.
And that's what you want to do, right? Whether it's in a good location or whatever it is, that's that extra element that adds to the experience of the cache. Which, if you're a cache owner, hopefully one of your joys that you get is people having good experiences at your caches.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, take some time, think through, and you can even do it. You can do it now. You'll miss Halloween, but that's okay. I think that one of the things that for me, I want to really emphasize is that if that's your thing, then don't worry about. To me, the theme can carry on. And
yes, yeah,
we found spooky caches not even close to Halloween, and we still enjoyed, so that's one of those, that it's worth doing. I guess the thing I don't want people to do is go, oh, well, Halloween's already here, and they'll put it off and they won't do it. And the next year around October 29th, we'll do another show, and they'll be like, oh, I should have put that cache out this year and I didn't do it. So and then you forget about it. So you're like,
well, and not just Halloween though, right? Like,
yeah,
as you mentioned, if you want to put, I think themed caches are a good idea, whether it's Halloween and even holiday themed caches, is what we're talking about tonight. But
absolutely,
we have other holidays coming up. Put it out there, leave it out, and see what kind of experience, experience people have with it, and see if they like the holiday theme. And I think it's just another idea to add to, if you're trying to put quality caches out there and you're looking for ideas for it, consider the holiday theme. Even if it won't be on the holiday, it's still worth it.
Absolutely. Well, there you go. So we will see everybody next Sunday with Tony be with us. So shout out to Vermont and all of those folks. I will wrap up tonight with, I have a list that I've wanted to mention, and I figure this is a good time as we wrap up the show.
Okay.
But top 10, this is a fascinating story. Once in a while I look at our stats, and these are stats for audio. So most people watching right now aren't going to listen to the audio later because they already watched the show.
So it's a
but
different
those
group
that are
of people.
listening, the people that are listening right now and the people watching might find this interesting as we again are at the as we start to wrap up. But here is a list of the top 10 states as far as listening. And this is a recent list. This is like the last 3 months. The states that have been most, that have been the most of the listeners. This is the states, the top 10. So let me give it to you real quick.
Okay.
So, and then I'll get your opinion on the interesting list. So number 1 was California. So shout out to California. You're number 1. Which there's a lot of people in California, but I just appreciate the fact that they showed up and they're number 1. They're the most, they're the state with the most listeners. Here, number 2 is Hawaii, which I was shocked.
Because there's not a lot of people in Hawaii, right? As opposed to California. Now, we've talked about it before, but I've met the geocachers down there, and you've been geocaching down there as well.
Yeah.
The geocachers down there are awesome.
They are awesome.
But there's not as many of them as there are, in other states. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Cache Fest has to go to Hawaii. That's all. That's what that tells us.
Yeah. Number 3 was Colorado. We have a lot of fans, a lot of Geocache Talk fans in Colorado.
Another awesome area for geocaching.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Number 4 was North Carolina. Okay.
Interesting.
I like it.
Yeah. Interesting. I like it.
Love North Carolina. Shout out to them. Number 5 was Texas. Okay. Big state. A lot of listeners. And thank you to everyone who does listen on the audio.
Yeah,
so I mean, we're just doing a little quick stat here. Next was New York. Another big state. A lot of people. Yep.
A lot of cash.
Next was Ohio. Another big state.
Yeah.
So a lot of good
There's
folks.
Some active cachers in Ohio. We know that.
Yep. Your brother's in Ohio, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And very cool.
People that are here regularly, even watching.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of watchers. Yeah, the watching thing is a different stat.
Totally different piece, yeah.
Audio wise, Ohio, and then number 8 was Illinois. Cool.
Okay.
Another Midwest. A lot of shout out to our fans and listeners in Illinois. Number 9 was Pennsylvania. So cool. And number 10 was Tennessee.
All right. I've lived in a few of those places. Yeah.
Yeah. If I did not mention your state, you are now tasked telling a friend that lives in your state, why are you not listening to Geocache Talk, or at least watching? Yeah. So everyone hears, all the chat room folks, they're watchers. They're not going to listen to it later.
Yeah. Totally separate stats, watching and
separate stat. Yeah. But I love the fact that we have watchers and listeners, and they don't, and some people do mix as far as like, if they miss it, they'll listen to it later.
Yeah.
Or if they they normally listen to the show, but they're going to watch it. They're going to watch it this time. They might go back and forth.
And people just have habits though, right? Because, and I don't want to draw us out because we'll talk about this another time, but like we do this podcast, right? And I've been on several video podcasts.
Yeah.
But I'm almost 100% exclusively a podcast listener.
Right.
Not watcher, which is interesting because I do more video podcasts, but I'm almost, but it's just lifestyle, right? I listen to them when I'm driving.
Yeah.
Or I listen to them when I'm doing other things. And rarely ever do I get to get on. I have, obviously, I've done it. I've watched some live when I get to do it. But I'm almost exclusively in that audio list.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yep. And then the last note was, have you seen the commercial where they talk about the person, everything they talk about with somebody else is that they know that there's a podcast for it. Oh, there's a podcast for that.
I have seen, well, I've heard that commercial. Yes.
Yeah. There's a podcast about fly fishing. It's called, Why Are People Doing That? That's the name of the podcast.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's a humorous thing, but, oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we do have we can bring up the Canadian listing and the video. We can look those up another night too.
Yeah. I think next week I can bring up the international list, which is also fascinating. So I won't
Can we tell provinces in Canada?
Yeah, it'll do that too. So I can do that.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
I'll do that. So Hugh, next week I'll bring up we'll do a quick top 10 for international, and for the top 2, I'll do the provinces for those countries, because that's also fascinating. So,
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. So Riley, he started out as a listener, and a lot of people do, or they'll switch back and forth sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. All right. Well, everybody have a good Halloween. And we'll see everybody next Sunday. So good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
May your finds be many and your DNFs be few. May the terrain and difficulty both be less than 2. And whatever it is you're looking for, may it find its way to you. And may we all meet again.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.